An appeals court on Thursday ruled former President Trump and two of his children must testify in a civil fraud investigation led by the New York Attorney General's office. The court said of the existence of a criminal investigation against the Trumps does not excuse Donald Trump Jr., or Ivanka Trump from subpoenas. The subpoenas delivered in December were seeking testimony and documents about the valuation of properties owned by Mr. Trump and the Trump Organization. New York Attorney General Letitia James praised the court's decision. CBS News investigative reporter Graham Cates joins me now for more. Hey, Graham, I know you've been all over this story. So what can you tell us about the latest in this judge's response to the Trump team's argument that the former president should not be required to testify?
This is the second court that has found that just because there are attorneys from the Attorney General's office who work with the Manhattan District Attorney's office who is conducting a criminal probe, that doesn't mean that Trump can't be compelled to testify for the Attorney General's investigation. And what that means is that if that happens, they're essentially clear to share that deposition with whomever they want. And the only thing is that Trump, if he wants to, can plead the fifth many times throughout the deposition and say, I'm afraid that this information is going to end up in the hands of criminal investigators.
And I think we all know that this is a president or former president that is very well versed in legal appeals. Do we expect one in this case?
One of his attorneys has already told me they are probably going to appeal, but that they're still kind of reviewing their options. There's one more court in New York State that they can appeal to. It's called the Court of Appeals. It's the highest court in New York. But after that, that's really where they run out of options. And if that court agrees with the two lower courts, they will have just about 2 weeks after the decision to actually have these depositions take place.
And Graham, do we have any idea about how much longer this investigation may go on?
All of the indications are that it's really wrapping up and that these depositions are among the final things that are the last things outstanding. And in several recent hearings, attorneys for Letitia James's office have said they're nearing the end of this investigation. They're beginning to wrap things up, and that they expect some sort of, in their words, enforcement action related to it, but they haven't elaborated on what that means or what we can expect in that regard.
And what's the latest on this parallel criminal investigation into the Trump Organization?
Well, so far there have been charges against the Trump Organization, the CFO, Alan Weisselberg, and an associated company called the Trump Corporation. And those are tax charges. And those three entities had previously filed a motion to dismiss, and we had been waiting to see how the criminal investigators were going to respond to that. And this Monday, they urged the court to move forward with the case. They said that the motion to dismiss doesn't really have merit and that they want to see charges. But in terms of the investigations, the segment of the investigation focused on Donald Trump himself, it's really appeared to be stalled. The current DA has said they're exploring things that they haven't previously, but as far as we know, there's no grand jury examining new evidence against Donald Trump. And the charges that we saw last summer against this company's CFO right now seem to be as far as it's going.
All right, a lot to break down there. Graham Cates, thank you very much for helping us out with that. Thank you.
Thank you.